All right, so on learning styles today for children, we will be talking about the auditory learners. Now, who is an auditory learner? An auditory learner is a child that learns majorly by listening. Okay, for this set of children, you really don't have to show them videos, you don't have to show them pictures, just say it. So long as they are hearing it, that's enough for them to learn. Now, how do you recognize or how do you identify if your child is an auditory learner? I will share a few tips. Number one, auditory learners are those set of children that will come home and say, "No, my auntie said," and they don't just leave it at that. They will repeat everything their teacher said almost verbatim. Just saying it is enough for them to hear and it sticks to their memory. Number two, there are those set of children that they would rather read out loud, because they must hear. They must hear it. Either it is somebody else that is saying it or they are the ones saying it. They just must hear. So they are the types that read out loud. An auditory learner is also a child that loves talking to himself. Some children just sit by themselves and they are repeating their daily activities. They are just seated in a corner and they're just, saying everything that happened to themselves. And in this part of the world, you will start looking at the child. Are you possessed? Do you have some spiritual friends? Are you Ogbanje? Who are you talking to? And you start beating the child. You're just doing that child injustice. A lot of times, these children are auditory learners and they are just replaying their activities that happened during the day. They are replaying it verbally and, just catching fun. Number four, auditory learners are those set of children that they just hear a particular song 1, 2, 3 times. It's enough for them to pick the lyrics of the song, and by the fourth time, sometimes it doesn't even get to that. A child just hears the song twice, and before he's singing along because it's so easy for him to just pick the lyrics of the song by simply listening, and that's enough. Another way you recognize an auditory learner is a child that's easily distracted. That's the irony. When they are reading, they would read out loud and they are disturbing every other person. You understand? But when other people are talking beside them as they are reading, they get so easily distracted because they learn by listening. So when they are trying to read and somebody else is talking beside them, or there's music, there's noise, their learning antenna moves straight to what the person is saying, so they are picking what the person is saying and it is distracting them, in what they are trying to concentrate on. So they are very easily distracted. And so as a parent, once you're able to identify that your child is an auditory learner, what is the next thing for you to do to help that child learning experience or that child become better? The first thing you must do is to improve their listening. Okay, they learn majorly by hearing. Now, that's one of the major problems with a lot of auditory learners. They have problem holding their attention span to with the teacher that is teaching them. They just must listen, all right? Now, the problem now lies in the fact that they're in the classroom and the teacher is teaching and their attention cannot stay with the teacher for more than 30 seconds. A lot of children have very short attention span. So they're listening to the teacher this minute, and before you know, their mind is somewhere else. So as a parent, if you want your child's learning experience to become better, once you have identified that child is an auditory learner, then you must work on that child's attention span, number one. Also, you must make sure you teach that child to become a better listener. All right. Help the child to sit still, and listen to you. Play audios, let the child sit still and listen. Practice these exercises all the time so that the child becomes a better listener. Another way you can help such an auditory learner is for you to tell them to come and explain to you what they have read. All right. I know sometimes it could be tasking. You've come back from work and you really want to rest. It may just be when you're cooking in the kitchen. You just tell them, okay, immediately you come back, or in the morning you would have given the child reading assignment that, okay, when you come back from school, this is what you should do. Read these 2 chapters, so that when you get back from work, whilst you're cooking in the kitchen, you now tell the child, come and explain to me everything that you have read. All right. That way, as the child is explaining to you, he's also listening to himself, and he's also, learning is being reinforced. Also, you can teach them verbal mnemonics. Okay, so if you really don't know, you can look up the meaning of mnemonics and how to go about that. Teach them verbal mnemonics also work. And then finally, one way you can improve the child's attention span, number one, is to take out distraction. Okay, make sure that you're taking out the screens, the TVs, the laptops. Just take it all out and minimize the screen time as much as possible. One factor that affects children's attention span a lot is when they spend so much time on their phones watching TV, especially cartoons. A lot of parents don't want to hear this. They see cartoons as their co-parent. They will tell you, so I should just leave him to be disturbing me. No, I will just put on the cartoon, let him go and sit down there. No, but I don't want anybody to disturb my life. But one thing they don't realize is that these cartoons have a lot of negative effects on your children's attention span. So as parents, try as much as possible to reduce the screen time, reduce cartoons to the barest minimum. Another way you can help your child's attention span is to practice mindfulness and memory game. All right. If you Google that up, I have a video, probably I'll attach the link somewhere. I have where I talked about 20 different mindfulness exercises that you can practice with your children. And if you also want your child to be more mindful and become a better auditory learner, you must pay attention to sleep. Make sure that your children are getting enough sleep, adequate sleep, restful sleep. There's a difference between just sleeping and having restful sleep. So make sure that your children get good quality sleep. So I hope this helps you as a parent identify whether your child is an auditory learner and how to improve your child's learning ability as soon as you're able to determine his learning style. I am Faith Akin Benjamin, a passionate educative parenting coach. Thank you.